Okay, I'm going to make this video presentation very brief, and this presentation I'm going to talk about ink and why you should not buy these things in bulk unless you print out a lot of documents, a lot of color images at one shot, whereas you need a stockpile of ink in your office or home office location. And the reason why I say you shouldn't buy in bulk unless you're doing high volume printing on an inkjet printer, that's because ink has a shelf life. So if you're a casual user or if you just print documents or color images occasionally, I wouldn't advise you to buy a stockpile of ink, meaning 2 or more of the same color ink, because these things have a shelf life. So if you only print a few times a year, I wouldn't advise you folks to buy a stockpile. But if you're a power user, or what they call it, a heavy duty user, I should say, and you print out a lot of documents, a lot of color images, then I would say go ahead and keep the stockpile of ink. And the reason why I say don't keep a stockpile, because here, this ink that I just put in maybe several months ago, it's been a while since I put it in. I don't remember when I put the ink in, but I know I'm going to need to change it and replace it soon because it's running low. But on the box, I don't know if you could see it, it says best before August 2016. So in other words, this ink is good before August of 2016 installed or on the shelf, because what happens over time as the ink gets near to its expiration date, it tends to dry up in your ink cartridge and will cause poor print quality or no printing at all on your printouts. And then you wonder why your printouts are not coming out. Well, perhaps your ink is expiring, or it has expired. Even though it's new, but like I said, if you purchase a stockpile of ink, you only use it whenever you feel like using the printer, and you don't deplete the ink wells in a timely fashion before the expiration date, then you're going to have these print quality issues and wasted money. So my advice, if you're a casual print user, only buy ink as needed. And if you're a power user or person that prints out a lot of color documents, I should say color images and documents, then I would say go ahead and stockpile on the printer. But just make sure and keep in mind of your expiration date. That's very important. When you're replacing the ink or when you're buying ink, always check before you purchase, obviously, so that you're not getting ripped off. I won't say ripped off, but you're not wasting money, because these ink cartridges are not cheap, as you already know. And they're getting a little bit better in terms of efficiency, because this is an Epson Workforce 3520 printer, and it has a feature where it's like, I think it's called eco-friendly, whatever it is, but it's very efficient on the ink. It's not like the old Epson printers of yesteryear where it just gobbled up a lot of ink, and next thing you know, you got to replace your ink every month or so, depending on your usage. But anyway, this is something to keep in mind when you do buy ink. Only buy it as needed, or as an as needed basis, not stockpiling unless you are a power user or a heavy duty printing person, and you're going to do a lot of printouts of documents and color copies or color images. Then I would say go ahead and keep the stockpile of ink. So that's my little tech tip for today, and something to keep in mind when you're thinking about buying ink. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave it in the comment section if you have one. Until then, take care, and I hope this was very helpful for you guys to keep in mind. Take care.